All right, so 1, 2, 3. Hello, Connor. How are you doing? Happy to be here with you talking again.
Leon, how are you doing? Good to see you again.
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. So you have completed your 90-day roadmap with us. You've gone through the SelfMaster Evolution program you entered. Tell us a little bit how's your experience been? Why did you come to us? What were you seeking? What you got? Everything a little bit you want to discuss.
Yeah, no problem. So, sort of taking it from the top, I came to the program with basically very little income, but a lot of ambition. Kind of had an ambition to start an agency and to break into the marketing world. I just graduated with a degree in computer science, um, but I didn't really know where to get going, and I found that I was just limited in that regard. I didn't know where to start. So I got the recommendation to join Self-Mastered from a friend, and that was basically all I needed. I said, okay, strong recommendation from this guy. That's good. And I came into the program, and immediately, like, the first thing I noticed was that it's impossibly dense. Like, it's the kind of program that,
Hmm.
firstly, you'll never need to go and buy any sort of a business performance, personal performance book again. Mainly because if any new ones come out, they'll probably read it and add it to the program anyway. But it's incredibly dense, and it took me a considerable amount of time to get through the work once, and I'm still reviewing it all the time. A lot of the things that I've done in it have probably been internalized to the point now that I almost don't have to think like, oh, I came from self-mastered. It's just become a part of my thinking, which is probably the ultimate aim.
Which is a goal, yeah.
Um, yeah, so in terms of like my income, I suppose it went up about 12x sometime around that.
12x in 3 months.
Yeah, in 3 months, yeah. In probably less than 3 months actually. Probably about
Congrats. That's
10 weeks.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah, to make a complete confession, I finished out about 10 weeks because I achieved everything that was there, including running a marathon in 8 weeks, going from, running like barely being able to run 3K, 3 or 4K to running a marathon in 4 hours. So pretty happy with all of
Wait, wait,
that.
wait. So hang on, this is really impressive. So everything that we discussed, the performance optimization stuff, how to manage yourself, how to understand yourself as a complex being, you use that to run a marathon in 8 weeks when you previously had little experience with running. Is that okay?
Awful runner, yeah. Could barely run. Hated running, actually. Yeah.
Dude, I
And
haven't
still,
managed to do so. And then you're 12x
yeah,
your company in 12 weeks or 10 weeks. How much you said?
in 10 weeks. Yeah, maybe even 9 weeks. Yeah, 9, 10 weeks, something like that. And
Dude,
I'm
that is
looking now at starting another venture that'll probably take me to the stratosphere level. But that's a joint venture with another guy, and that ambition and that kind of confidence to do that, or even to think about it in terms of systems, and to it's also like the only reason that I'm even looking at it is because I was able to recognize from what I learned in self-mastery that the limiting factor in my own business was me and my own time. But I wouldn't have recognized that otherwise. I would have just said, oh, I need to work harder, work harder, work harder. But in reality, I was able to distance myself, overlook the machine, take myself out of it and say, okay, the reason that I'm not getting to that next level is because I need to bring in people, and I need to bring in systems, and I need to do all of that. So again, self-master is coming into play there. So for the next 12 weeks, hopefully I might make it the full 12 weeks this time without achieving everything. I'm just going to set ridiculously ambitious goals, and we'll see where we go.
absolutely fantastic. You were alluding to the idea of leverage. That's one of the components of the methodology. But
Yes.
we basically touch the four verticals, right? The physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. How do you feel you have changed at work? So in terms of focus, motivation, discipline, ability to withstand problems, to understand yourself under stress, to remove overwhelm, how has your journey has been throughout the program, and how have you evolved?
Well, I would say in terms of emotional variability, first of all, there isn't any. I'm very methodical in the work now. Even more so, I was relatively like that before, but now it's distinctly improved in the last 10 weeks in that, like, no matter what it is during the day, I don't tend to get bothered by anything. I just go like that. One thing that I've noticed is, obviously, on top of being more effective and less tolerant of constant communication destroying my focus,
Mhm.
I've really noticed that I'm extremely intolerant of people wasting my time now. Because I recognize that I have to go to the audit after time every time and say, okay, was that, how much money was that worth there? I had to really drill back and evaluate, all right, how much do you value your time at? Is that task worth it? If it's not worth it, what the hell are you doing? Stop what you're doing. Go and do something else. And in terms of that, like I was never a tracker. I'm a very intuitive worker. I was never the person who would track or keep a diary or anything. Like I would keep a very loose log. So to get used to being as methodical and intense about it as I am now, took a bit of getting used to. But like when you have that constant feedback, say from the dashboard that you have inside the course, you have that constant feedback at the end of every day. You can spot trends. You can see exactly where you're going wrong. And I was able to, for example, I noticed that I was getting pulled into like conference calls early in the day, constantly at like 1 or 2 o'clock, and some of the or sorry, no, like for 1 to 2 hours. And I noticed that they were the cause of just the productivity just dropping off massively. And I was able to spot that trend, and I was immediately axed it. And I said, "Look, we can talk for 30 minutes, 4:30 to 5, end of the day. That's about it." And immediately I could see the track in my performance going way up. And also, I know my emotional variability wasn't there, but definitely the frustration was there, because I was like, why the hell am I spending so much time on these tasks? But you don't know that unless you track. What gets measured gets managed. So on top of everything else, yeah, planning and working in 3-month increments, which I think personally is the perfect time. Like 90 days is just, it's like the right, 6 months is too long. Anything shorter is too short, but 3 months is perfect for someone who is an intense worker. I've definitely become much more intense since then when I
I
work.
love to hear that.
Yeah, definitely a lot more intense. Like if I'm working, and I blink and it's 8 o'clock at night. I say, oh Jesus, wow, I've got a lot done today. You know what I mean? But it also means that like when it comes to the weekend, I can go, like I've been surfing now 2 days in a row. I'm probably going to go surfing again today. And I can do that because when I'm working, I'm working. And when I'm not working, I can go and do whatever it is that I like to do. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, it feels like you've learned what other people take a decade to learn, right? In a short
Yes.
3 months.
Well, I would also say that I've learned, I would say I've internalized 20% of the course, maybe less, 15%. And like, I think it'll probably take me maybe 4 to 5 plus goes to get to the rest of it. Genuinely, like there are things that I forget. I look back through my notes and I say, man, I need to go back over that. Like, you know what I mean? So it is impossibly dense. And that comes from someone who's done a lot of online courses and paid for a lot of different education. I've seen the worst of the worst and I've seen the best. And this is, it's leagues beyond. I mean, can't say any better than that.
Thank
So,
you. That really means a lot. And
no,
and how do you feel about because we have a lot of um, own thoughts, right? A lot of intellectual property things that we weren't the only one discussing it. How do you feel about, for instance, the self-master protocols? How we pair the habit, how you form an habit, and how you form an intention, and how you track your planning, your execution, and then how you segment your week.
I would say infinitely superior to any other method that I've seen before. And I've read them all in terms of like the power of habit and deep work, Cal Newport, all those books, the kind of the big ones on productivity. And I would say that kind of the segmentation process, because it is relatively customizable. But you can really break it down and see exactly what you need to do every day. It takes a bit of getting used to, because if you're not the type of person who's into planning, you need to kind of set that time apart. But then you do it for 1 week and you see, wow, I don't know how I ever operated a different way beforehand, because you get so much more done. And that's really the ultimate goal, to get more done in less time, really. Do you know what I mean? And in terms of the protocol, like it's incredibly holistic. And I really do appreciate that. I wonder, is it your architectural background that comes into play there, because your ability to kind of take everything and see it, how it all interplays, and the connections between them. Like that's a real sign of knowing the topics properly, is if you can spot how they all fit together. And I've never seen anyone to take that. I've seen bits, little bits, you know what I mean? But they never put it together. And that's where the value is in being able to do that. Because if you have a mental model, it's a much easier thing to wrestle with yourself, to keep inside you and to use on a daily basis, rather than just having these individual separated things. you know what I mean? So I think the protocol itself, it teaches you how to think and how to approach these things better. And it makes you a lot more effective. Do you know what I mean? Which obviously is the ultimate goal, is to be more effective, and not necessarily to be more effective so that you work all the time or you work forever, but it's so that you're more effective, you make more of an impact in the world, and you don't waste time being ineffective. Because if you're wasting time being ineffective, then you're wasting time that you could be doing anything. Obviously, you're wasting time that you could be being effective, but you're also wasting time that you could be doing life affirming activities, going traveling, or going, practicing sports or playing guitar, any sort of a thing. Being more effective should be the ultimate goal for every person in order to benefit society and also benefit yourself. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I totally agree. That's how we created the protocol, because in the end we looked into the actual data and science of how to better focus, how to sustain performance, and how to do that day in, day out. Because as you said, if you're able to make more progress in a day than people make in a week, then not only you're going to run circles around anybody that tries to compete with you, but you also have a lot more free time, right? Which is
Yeah.
eventually the goal, to enjoy life, enjoy work, make an impact, serve others, and do so while minimizing drag.
And work is, I had a long discussion with my friend yesterday about, the viability of starting a business, and the reason why it's so good to start one and sort of create new wealth. He's qualified as an accountant, not sure what he wants to do next. And he works at one of the big four firms. He was saying he feels like a lot of his work is pointless. Do you know what I mean? Which is a big thing. Whereas one of the things about being an entrepreneur is that your work has an impact. And when you're more effective and you have more of an impact, and every bit of your work matters, it's an impossible thing to describe unless you actually do it and you feel it, because it's incredibly rewarding to do something well, and for someone to be happy and to see a real impact in their business. Even, for example, someone could say, running sales and marketing wouldn't be too impactful, but you're making a huge difference to someone's business, improving livelihoods. It's an incredible feeling, and that's why kind of the ambition of becoming more effective is probably the best thing that you can do for other people.
Absolutely. And how do you feel the SelfMaster Performance School that we have daily discussions, and we have our head of research sharing the latest research on performance? How do you feel that has impacted yourself? How does that complement the course or the program? How do you feel about that?
It's a very rewarding place, but it's just extending my reading list even further. And, I don't have the time to keep reading all these things. It's brilliant. It's the best possible problem to have. There's so many interesting things to read, that every time I check in, I end up with 12 open tabs, and I'm like, okay, well, I better set aside some time to get through this. But it is brilliant. And Mark is very good. He's very, very helpful and very curious. And the other guys, like Benjamin is another one, Yannick is another guy inside there. They're all very, like-minded, kind of intelligent people. Do you know what I mean? And they're very curious and sort of very, very friendly, but the ultimate like pursuit of knowledge. There's very little ego inside there, which is good. There's kind of an open discussion of things. Sometimes you get problems the other way. If someone disagrees with someone else, the ego gets involved. It devolves the conversation. There's none of that in the school, which I appreciate, but it makes a lot of sense. If you've gone through Self-Mastered, if you're the type of person who's willing to seek out that knowledge, you're probably going to be in good company if you're inside here.
Absolutely. Well, I think we make a good job in selecting, because we need to apply for the program. We need to make sure the people that apply and get in actually fit the community. So we're a mission-driven company, so we need to make sure that the community gets better every time somebody enters a program, goes through it, and impacts his business, which is eventually the goal, right? Not only that he grows, and you've grown massively in 10 weeks, like massively, and I'm super happy about that, super proud, but also that the community as a whole benefits, right? And closing thoughts on, we also have like a very unique angle, because we say that performance must be data driven. Personal development and performance optimization without data is just intellectual masturbation. That's something you've heard me said 1,000 times. And we coded the dashboard personally, like for 5 years. How do you feel about the dashboard? How did the dashboard integrate in your workflows? How much you use it? Share a little bit about that.
The dashboard is fantastic. It's truly unique. I can't even imagine the amount of work and thought that must have gone into it. You can see your Excel or Google Sheets wizardry in the background. Like, I'm still struggling with VLOOKUP tables from time to time, so I don't know how you managed it, but it is
Finance, mate. I spent 5 years in finance.
It's an incredible piece of kit, and the only thing I will say, it does take a bit of getting used to. I personally found that the best way to do it was to start the day, then to track during the day on paper, and then to log it at the end of the day again by logging back in. Because if you have it open all day, you can start to get into the minutiae of things, and it breaks up your productivity flow a little bit, I feel. But having it at the start and the end of every day and planning out your day methodically, using obviously ring fence sessions to see how everything's going, it makes an enormous difference. And even tracking all the different things that you wouldn't think are important, sort of, meditation, sleep, all of those like really, really interesting metrics. And also the macro metrics, sort of being able to plan out the year, or planning out the 3-month period, as well as planning out the what is it, the
week,
there's the week, but the one over the 12 weeks where you would track the
roadmap, the quality roadmap.
Yeah, roadmap, yes. Apologies, I forgot the name. I think that's truly incredibly reaffirming to do it. Like, I mean, when I was running the marathon and I was putting in that I was doing the whole thing, nothing better. You see it go up and to the right, and you're just like, oh, yeah, doing well. So yeah, that's it's definitely, it's brilliant in those respects. But like I said, it takes a bit of getting used to. But once you're used to it, you don't know how you live without it beforehand. Really, it's the ultimate tool for sort of personal performance. Genuinely, it is probably worth more than the price of admission to the course. The dashboard alone.
Definitely, if you use it and then you implement that across your organization and everybody follows it, and because we help organization work this within the CEOs and also the rest of the team, then that's how you really blow everybody out of the water. Because again, we've proven time and time again that it works. Conor, absolutely fantastic. Dude, I wasn't expecting so good results. I'm super happy to hear not only that you run a marathon, but also that you 12x your business. We still haven't managed to do so in a 3-month period in SelfMaster, so you've helped us. That's real wizardry. We love when the results of our customers are better than our own results. I'm super really happy for that, and see you in the performance school, and wish you all the best for the next quarter.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Cheers.
Thanks.
Bye-bye, Conor.
See you then.